Quick Picks. Hey everybody, I'm Beware, and this is Quick Picks, the show where I discuss two very similar characters, break down everything you need to know about them, and then pick out which one is my favorite. Ready or not? Let's go. This time on Quick Picks, we will be discussing Batman and Daredevil. First up, the Caped Crusader himself, Batman. Created in 1939 by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, Batman's first appearance was in Detective Comics number 27. His early design differs greatly from the Batman you know today. Eventually, his gloves would become gauntlets, his bat ears became straighter, and it was in issue number 29 that he was given his iconic utility belt. Over the years, many staples of modern Batman were introduced, including the Batarang, Batmobile, and even his infamous sidekick, Robin. Along with all these aesthetic changes, it was in issue number 33 that we were given Batman's origin story. Born Bruce Wayne from his billionaire parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, the boy lived a very easy and sheltered life, until one fateful night, after seeing a Broadway production of Zorro, Bruce's parents were shot down in front of him in the middle of Crime Alley. Only 7 years old, this changed Bruce forever. Scarred by this tragedy, Bruce decided two things that night. Death is terrible, and crime needs to be stopped. It was these two unflinching values that fueled Bruce as he traveled the world, studying the sciences, learning from detectives and masters of illusion, and practicing martial arts under the world's most deadly masters. When Bruce finally returned to Gotham City, he had sculpted himself into the peak human, now a master of 127 different martial arts, able to bench over 1,000 pounds, and still with access to his family's enormous fortune of around $11 billion. He pooled all of his skills and resources into shaping his new identity as the Batman. Batman has had some crazy escapades over the 75-plus years he's been around. I'm sure you've seen at least one of his comics, movies, TV shows, games, or amusement park rides at some point. The Dark Knight is one of the most iconic characters in history, with one of the most impressive rogues galleries, challenged only by perhaps Spider-Man. There's not much more to say than that. He is the goddamn Batman. Now, onto the man without fear, Daredevil. Thought up by the minds of Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Bill Everett, Daredevil first leaped onto comic pages in 1964. While created by Lee and Everett, Daredevil is more frequently recognized by the work of Frank Miller, who wrote the majority of his popular stories in the 1980s. Daredevil's design change over time is far more drastic than Batman's, as he started out with his neon yellow spandex that later evolved into the dark crimson we recognize him in today. Typically carrying two Eskrima sticks on his side, these weapons sometimes double as nunchucks, grappling rope, or a bow staff. Daredevil's frightening demeanor, a man in a devil suit, had humble beginnings though. 9-year-old Matt Murdock, son of washed-up boxer Battling Jack Murdock, jumped to save a man from being struck by an oncoming truck, only to have toxic waste fall off of the truck and blind him. Not long after, Matt lost his father as well, who decided not to throw a fight as was scheduled, and was subsequently murdered by the mob. It was at this point that Matt was trained by Stick, an elderly blind man who also happened to be a master of martial arts. Stick taught Matt to embrace his blindness and focus on enhancing his other senses, giving him what is often called the radar sense. This allows Matt to perceive the world far better than any seeing person. He can smell people coming from yards away, hear the clicking of a gun being loaded, or a car door opening from down several blocks. While he was being trained, Matt lived in a Catholic orphanage and was primarily raised by Mother Maggie, a nun in charge of the children. It was his strong Catholic faith, paired with his radar sense and martial arts abilities, that drove Matt to become the devil of Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil. A vigilante who seeks to clean up his small area of New York, Matt often battles the likes of Bullseye and the Kingpin, while his daily life is spent protecting the New Yorkers in a different way, as a pro bono lawyer. Daredevil has not seen the same kind of popularity as Batman, but in the 50 years that he's been around, he was most notably portrayed in the MCU Netflix series by the same name. Matt Murdock is a fighter, like his father, a devout religious man who struggles with his faith as much as he struggles against villains. He is the man without fear. Now it's time to pick. Which do I prefer? Well, I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to have to go with Daredevil. Yes, Batman has a far better aesthetic. His look is menacing and cool. It's exactly the kind of thing that a street thug would have nightmares about. And of course, Batman has a far greater reach, meaning that his vast amounts of wealth and experience allow him to do that which no one else can do. He is supremely intelligent, a master detective, a badass fighter, and a suave ladies' man. He is everything we all want to be, but that's why I prefer Daredevil. Both characters say something about the human condition. Batman shows the peaks of what a normal person can be. He represents a mere man that can stand alongside the gods that are the other members of the Justice League. But Daredevil is a more realistic portrayal of being human. He is constantly beaten down, demoralized, in need of money, medical treatment, or just a shoulder to cry on. He is what it looks like when a human is supremely well-meaning and skilled, but is still just a human. He can't buy a jet to fly around New York in seconds, or craft a set of tools to help him get out of any situation. He has just his fists and a slight sensory edge over those around him. And more so than just what they can accomplish, Daredevil's motivation is more interesting to me. Bruce has firm, unshakable beliefs that stand up to the scrutiny of madmen like the Joker or Two-Face. But Matt's values are linked to his faith. If something happens that causes him to lose his trust in God, then what's stopping him from breaking his no-kill rule anymore? That's what fascinates me about Daredevil. So that's my quick pick. Who's yours? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, stay frosty.